Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital is a charity dedicated to the rescue and rehabilitation of sick, injured, orphaned and distressed local wild animals. The charity aims to provide aid to all the animals they take into their care so that they can be eventually released into the wild. The Wildlife Hospital also provides lifelong care to animals that are unable to be released. Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital is a crucial part of the community and provides care to many animals who otherwise would not survive. The charity is entirely self-funded and relies on the commitment of volunteers and generous public donations. Chris Rounding, an animal enthusiast who works closely with Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital, is going to share with you some of the stories of the animals in the charity's care.
After 8 years of dedicated fundraising, in 2005 Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital finally raised the funds to begin building their new wildlife hospital and education centre. The new site covers 3 acres and provides much needed space for Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital to house orphaned, sick and injured animals. So far, the new land has been used to create a purpose-built hospital with specialist facilities and outdoor pens to care for all the animals who need the hospital's help. But the development is not finished yet. Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital hope to further expand the site, creating more treatment rooms for animals, as well as facilities for educational purposes. Through a range of fundraising activities, the centre hopes to raise the money to begin work on the new buildings, which will enable them to help even more wildlife in need. One of the animals the hospital is caring for is this badger. He was brought to the centre after being injured in a car accident and is currently in a critical condition after undergoing serious surgery. To minimise his discomfort and enable the staff to work safely with the badger, he has been semi-sedated and the hospital staff are having to feed the fragile badger through a syringe as he is too weak to feed himself. Sadly, despite the best efforts of all the staff at the Wildlife Hospital, this badger's life could not be saved. The badger's injuries were very severe and he was simply too weak to pull through. But the story has a brighter ending for some of the other badgers the centre has taken into its care. This badger is one of the eldest residents at the Wildlife Hospital. He was brought into the hospital when he was found injured after being rejected from his clan. Due to the badger's age, he is now unsuitable for release into the wild and will therefore spend the rest of his life being cared for by the staff here at Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital. Also spending the rest of her days at the centre is this younger female badger. She is also unsuitable for release into the wild and the 2 badgers have become lifelong companions. In August 2012, the hospital was the unfortunate victim of a burglary that resulted in the loss of 28 stainless steel and aluminium cages worth thousands of pounds. The raid also left many sick animals and birds severely injured and left for dead after being thrown out onto the floor.
It was 3 wounds worth, so it was quite a lot of cages. I mean, thankfully we did manage to get these ones back about 2 days ago, but it's only about a third of what was actually stolen. Loads of stuff was damaged as well, you know, like the heat pads, stuff like that. The cables were ripped out of them, so we had to replace all of them as well. So yeah, it was just really devastating and upsetting to obviously have to come into that first thing in the morning.
As of November 2012, 17 of the cages have been recovered, though some of them were badly damaged and need repairing. 12 are specifically to care for hedgehogs, while the other 5 are for larger animals. In 1995, there were approximately 1.5 million hedgehogs in Great Britain. However, evidence suggests that in just the first decade of this century, around a quarter of the population has been lost. Hedgehogs are amongst the many species of animal that are cared for at the Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital.
When they are brought in, mainly it's from like members of the public because they found them in their back gardens or been attacked by dogs. What we do is, depending on how much they weigh, if they only weigh a small amount, then they're in here, in the sick bay area, because they're all on soup, so we can keep them all in the same area so we know where they are. And then as soon as they get to a certain weight, they get moved into the hedgehog room. And then as soon as they're looking after themselves, eating well and that, we put them outside in the outside enclosure. And then the majority of them can be released in kind of the springtime. Yes. We've got a few out there that are permanent residents, but they're stuff that like are blind, so they can't be released. But most of them, I think there's 20 out there now, they will be released in the springtime.
Today at the Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital, a kestrel is being re-released. Kestrels are birds which are part of the falcon and allies family. They can be found in a wide variety of habitats, from moor and heath to farmland and urban areas. They're a familiar sight, hovering beside a motorway or other main roads. They can often be seen perched on a high tree branch or telephone post on the lookout for prey. This particular kestrel was released from the hospital before, but came back injured from an attack from another bird, which resulted in the loss of one of its eyes. As it's released, it hangs around the hospital grounds, regaining its sense of direction and coming to terms with its decreased sight. The hospital will provide the bird with food, such as mice for the first week to ensure it gets fed as it learns to hunt out prey once again. This buzzard came to the hospital with an injured wing and she has received treatment. She is now well on her way to full recovery and is being moved to the outside enclosures for future recuperation. Buzzards are now the most common and widespread UK bird of prey. In the bird of prey world, the females are always larger than the males for obvious reasons, as they have to protect their young. Buzzards have broad, rounded wings and a short neck and tail. When gliding and soaring, it will often hold its wings in a shallow V and the tail fanned. Their melancholy mewing call can often be mistaken for a cat. Swans. Swans are the largest members of the duck and goose family. There are 6 different species, the mute, whooper and Buick being the most common. Swans found in Britain have pure white plumage, whereas those from the southern hemisphere have all or partially black feathers. All the swans in this enclosure have been brought into the Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital due to injury or some sort of physical abnormality. Some of the animals will one day be suitable for release. However, there are some which will never be able to be reintroduced into the wild. Due to their conditions, some of the animals would struggle to feed or defend themselves and could risk becoming further injured or die, were they to be released. Angel wing causes one or both of the bird's wings to turn outwards in an unnatural position. This prevents the birds from flying and can lead to an early death. The condition is incurable in adult birds and many are left reliant on human care. This swan suffers from angel wing and is therefore unable to fly and would struggle to care for itself in the wild. Fortunately, the staff at Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital are here to provide the necessary care for the bird, allowing it to live a safe and comfortable life. However, the Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital rely on public support to fund their work. Events held regularly throughout the year to raise funds and awareness allowed the hospital to continue to care for wild animals in need across Leicestershire. If you'd like to find out more about the work that Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital do and how you can support them, please visit their website at www.leicesterwildlifehospital.org. Here you can find information on upcoming events and learn about the animals in their care.
We hope that you've learnt something about the commitment that goes into caring for wild animals in need. From providing emergency veterinary care, to coordinating releases, to monitoring the health and rehabilitation of rescued animals, and providing everyday attention to the residents of the animal hospital. Leicestershire Wildlife Hospital treats all casualties free of charge, and therefore it takes a great deal of money to maintain their standard of care. As well as keeping up with their everyday running costs, the charity is trying to continue expanding the site to meet their ever-growing demand.